Well, it's Monday, the first workday of the week. Today is the 16th of September 2019. Welcome to the first edition of the program, The Platform. For this week, the third week in the month of September 2019. Well, The Platform is the pinnacle of all discussions. We promote civil discussions here on this platform. My name is Michael Oni, and this is Flo 94.9 FM. As Nigeria battles to fix myriads of security challenges and internal conflicts within its various communities, individuals and groups, analysts have opined that the nation's criminal justice system is not all-encompassing. Now, a pointer to this fact is the slow dispensation of justice and the high number of Nigerians languishing in detention awaiting trial. Hence, the need for an alternative dispute resolution system that will save resources, time, and ensure friendship among warring parties. This morning on the platform, we are looking at how we can mainstream alternative dispute resolution into Nigeria's criminal justice system. And joining us this morning on the program is a lawyer, an ADR apostle. When I say ADR, I mean alternative dispute resolution, which you will get to know about later on the program, and the Director Legal Clinic, Faculty of Law, Police Academy in Kano, Dr. Ben Udo. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning. It's a pleasure.
It's good to have you join us this morning on the program. Well, let's begin with that name, Alternative Dispute Resolution. What is it about? What is the meaning of Alternative Dispute Resolution?
The acronym ADR, it means different things to different persons at different times. Some people see it as alternative dispute resolution. My worry with this meaning is if it is said it's alternative dispute resolution, I will be forced to ask what is it alternating.
Okay.
Now, so that's why I said it means different things to different persons at different times. So it could mean alternative dispute resolution, and you'll be right. If you say it is appropriate dispute resolution, you will also be right.
Okay.
If you say it is amicable dispute resolution, you'll be right. If you say it's African dispute resolution, you'll be right. But the best definition of alternative dispute resolution is that it is a comprehensive tool for resolving dispute outside courtroom litigation.
Can you take that again, please?
I said alternative dispute resolution is a comprehensive tool for resolving disputes outside courtroom litigation.
Is it the same as settlement out of court?
Settlement out of court, yes. It's settlement out of court. And the beauty of it is that while settlement in court changes a harmonious relationship into an acrimonious relationship, settlement out of court converts an acrimonious relationship into a harmonious relationship.
So what difference would it make to our criminal justice system against the much talked about reform in the sector, the criminal justice sector?
Thank you very much. It's going to make a lot of differences. The type of justice system we have in Nigeria is a justice system that is called retributive justice system.
Retributive
justice system, which is after punishing an offender. Now, alternative dispute resolution is in existence, have come to be in Nigeria to create a paradigm shift from the retributive justice system we have to restorative justice system we ought to have. Now, the difference between retributive and restorative, I told you that the type of justice system we have in Nigeria is retributive. It uses punitive approaches in correcting an offender, which is punishing an offender. It's wrong. The type of justice system we should long to have, or we ought to have, is restorative justice system. So ADR now came to create a paradigm shift from this retributive justice system that we have to restorative justice system that we ought to have, which instead of punishing an offender, it's not after punishing an offender, but it is after rehabilitating an offender. It is after reforming an offender. It is after repairing the society where a crime is committed. It is after also reintegrating an ex-offender back to the society without stigmatization.
Is there a need to settle out of court is there a need for alternative dispute resolution?
There is a need. One, alternative dispute resolution is no longer optional for lawyers. It is now compulsory.
It is compulsory.
Very well. Rule 15, sub-rule 3D of Rule of Professional Conduct 2007 provides that in his representation of client, a lawyer shall not fail nor neglect to generate alternative dispute resolution options for his client first before resorting to litigation.
So it is compulsory for a lawyer to ask the client, do you think we should settle this case out of court?
Very well. Rule 55 provides that if a lawyer fails to generate alternative dispute resolution options for his client first before resorting to court, such failure shall be tantamount to professional misconduct. So it is not.
So it's a serious issue.
It's a professional offense in law now. So a lawyer is expected to first generate alternative dispute resolution options such like negotiation, mediation, conciliation, or arbitration for his client. Now, if these alternative dispute resolution mechanisms fail, his last option should be litigation. Whether it is in civil matters, although there are some matters that ADR, especially in criminal trials, that are ADR are not amenable to. So I'm talking about basically civil matters. Even some minor criminal offenses like misdemeanors, you generate alternative dispute resolution for your client before heading to court. So, and I said so, for lawyers, sir, statutorily,
it is compulsory.
ADR is compulsory. Scripturally too, it is compulsory for lawyers that are Christians and for lawyers that are Muslim. Even for Muslims, for example, Quran chapter 49 verse 9 provides that there is nothing as good as a gathering of Muslim brethren with a view of resolving conflict for one another out of court. Keep doing this in accordance with Allah's ordinance, so that Allah the most merciful will call you my beloved.
Okay.
For Christians, Matthew chapter 18 verse 15 says, when you have conflict with one another, have a direct discussion or communication with the person you have conflict with a view of resolving it. That is negotiation, direct discussion or communication with a view of resolving it, which is an ADR process. Verse 16 says, if the person refuses, invite a third neutral person to resolve the differences. The invitation of a third neutral person is mediation. Verse 17 says, if he refuses, call on the church elders to listen and resolve the matter amicably. They call on the church elders in settlement conference, even arbitration. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1 to 8. Woe unto you that take your matters to unbelievers to resolve for you in court. Can't you among yourself appoint arbitrators to sit down and resolve your differences? Don't you know you can judge angels in heaven? If you can judge angels in heaven, how much more trivial cases that on your own you cannot resolve than taking everything to be resolved in court? I say this to shame you. Woe unto you, unquote. So the Bible, in fact, let me tell you, the cross of it is Matthew chapter 5 verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. So it is scripturally compulsory and it is statutorily compulsory.
So it is compulsory to seek alternative dispute resolution. Is it in the Constitution of Nigeria?
It is in the Constitution of Nigeria, section 19, subsection 1D. Provide that the foreign policy of Nigeria shall be to resolve international dispute through negotiation, mediation, conciliation, arbitration, and adjudication. It is there in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, section 19, subsection 1D. Provides for alternative dispute resolution. Outside this, we have laws providing for ADR in Nigeria.
Does the court process in Nigeria support ADR? That's the alternative dispute resolution.
You see, there is a new law that just came into existence, and that is called Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015.
Okay.
That Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015 carefully mainstreamed alternative dispute resolution into our criminal trials, because before now lawyers see it as it is something that is not amenable, it is something that is not workable in criminal matters, that it can be used in civil matters, but for criminal matter is a no-go area.
Do you think, in your opinion, do you think it is workable in criminal matters?
That's what I'm telling you, sir, that the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, a law made by the National Assembly, provides for ADR in criminal trials. Did you get what I'm saying? Section 270 to 277 provide for plea negotiation, plea bargaining, which is have a negotiation with a criminal defendant with a view of resolving that criminal matter. So the act provides for plea negotiation, which is plea bargaining. It provides for restorative justice, which is an ADR process in criminal trial. It provides for community sentencing, community order, community service. And some states now, this law came into existence 2015. Now, 26 states out of 36 have domesticated it. Abia State domesticated theirs last year. Ebonyi State just signed their own into law last week. In Ebonyi State now, for example, if you commit a minor offense, there is a law that provides of the court sentencing you to a warehouse called prison in Ebonyi. You'll be sentenced to Ebonyi prison farm, where you will go and work as punishment. Earn small money. Use that money when you are out of the prison farm to develop yourself. The aim of that is to rehabilitate and reform an offender than just punishing an offender. That is ADR in criminal trial. So there is a law, not just a law, an act of the National Assembly that have made ADR now to be part of our criminal jurisprudence. So it's not whether it should be done, but it is already in existence.
So you're saying if we make use of alternative dispute resolution, we will have less court matters, we will have lesser court cases, and of course we also have lesser work for lawyers.
It's not lesser work for lawyers. We will number one is that the court system will be decongested.
Okay.
Number two is that the prison system, or which is the correctional service, there is a new law now that have changed the name of Nigerian prisons to correctional services. So it will be decongested. Can I shock you, sir?
Okay, go ahead.
Just 2 months ago, I did a research. I discovered that Nigerian prison correctional services now has about 78,528 inmates.
Can you take that?
78,528 inmates
across
the country.
All the
out of this is only 23,400 inmates are people who have been convicted. Other ones are on awaiting trial.
Awaiting trial. Meaning we have close to over 50,000 of them.
Awaiting trial. And it is government that is feeding them. Federal government budget 450 naira for the feeding of inmates per day. Now
450,000.
Do the arithmetic. 450 naira times 78,528. How much will you get? Did you do the arithmetic?
I'm doing the arithmetic here.
How much will it? That's
a whole lot. Let me multiply 50,000 multiplied by 450. That's about.
No, you didn't get it. Just do arithmetic of 78,528.
Okay.
78,528 will give you what?
Wow, that's a whole lot of money.
41 million minimum. That is what.
That's the minimum of 41 million naira.
Every blessed day for the feeding of inmates. For the feeding of inmates. But if we now,
which would have been reduced if we have ADR.
That's what I'm telling you now.
Okay.
For example, like I said, the prison farm in Ebonyi, the formula that we have proposed is that once you are guilty of a misdemeanor or you're a misdemeanant, you'll be sentenced into Ebonyi prison farm. Now, in that prison farm, if you'll be asked what you want to do while you are serving your jail term in the prison. For example, you say you want to go into poultry. Government will give you beds, give you the feed. You'll be rearing the beds there. The public will come to patronize to buy the beds. The money you raise from that poultry will be shared into the ratio of 60-20-20. 60% of that money will be saved for you when you finish your jail term. They give it to you. 20% will be for your feeding. 20% will go into government IGR. You see how it is now reducing the cost of running the correctional services, which ADR have come to play that role, decongesting the court system and decongesting the prison system. Are you getting what I'm saying?
I'm getting you.
So if ADR comes, then number one is that it will create a harmonious relationship. Number two is going to repair the society. Number three is going to create more jobs for lawyers.
More jobs
for lawyers.
In my opinion, as a layman in the legal system, in your field, I was thinking if people settle out of court, it will make their lawyers not relevant in the society.
No.
When we go outside, we settle out of court. What else do lawyers will be doing?
That is a wrong notion, sir.
Okay.
The law, Rule 15 sub Rule 3D, provide that a lawyer shall generate ADR options for his client before resorting to litigation. Which means now, as a lawyer, if I have a client, the client will come to my chamber and say, look, this matter shall be resolved through mediation, and my bill is 10,000 naira or 20,000 or 50,000 as the case may be, and you pay me that money, and I sit in the comfort of my chambers and amicably resolve that matter without going to court to file a process. When you file a process in court, you pay the court.
Yes.
When you continue, you call for witnesses.
You pay the witnesses.
You pay the witnesses. You come to court every blessed day. You are paid an appearance fee. You do everything. You finish. You want a copy of the judgment. You also pay the court to have a copy of the judgment. It's capital intensive. But if you're in your chambers and you're able to resolve the differences of your client and they pay you, you don't spend any other money in court.
What we have on ground now in Nigeria, we have numerous court cases, ongoing tribunal. Just last week we had the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal deliver its judgment. Do you think politicians, with what we have in Nigeria, will go towards the direction of alternative dispute resolution?
Funny enough, INEC have now a new practice direction that is called Electoral Dispute Resolution Direction for INEC.
For INEC?
For INEC.
Which is the same thing.
Which is the same thing. That's what I'm saying. I told you the acronym ADR means different things to different persons are different. It can be Africa, it can be electoral, it can be anything. But I said the best is the comprehensive tool of resolving dispute without going to court. Now, for politicians, it will save them cost if they embrace electoral dispute resolution processes without heading to litigation.
I'm gunning for a particular elective position. I've spent money and I felt cheated. What kind of measures do you think my opponent will put on ground? I will buy it in such a case.
It's all about collaboration.
Okay.
Your opponent should be able to lure you, lobby you. The beauty of ADR is you have to make it to compromise. Without compromise, you can't make a headway. If you come together and there is this compromise and there is this bargaining and there is this negotiation, two of you can team up together to work. You know, the major difference between ADR and litigation is that while litigation is all about fighting parties fighting themselves, ADR, parties do not fight themselves, they fight their problems. They come together to fight their problem than to fight themselves. So in electoral dispute resolution process, parties can come together, collaborate to fight a common cause. And I tell you, they use it, though, I think we used this some time ago in Nigeria when they came out with the consensus candidate, when he contested against Jonathan. You know how many Northerners were contested? There were about 28. Until they came together and had what is called consensus building, which is an ADR process. And in that consensus building, all the people were asked to step down for Atiku, except Sarah Jubrin, which ended up getting one vote at the primaries. Atiku now won, but at the general election, Atiku now won that consensus building, went into the main primaries of PDP, and Jonathan won. So it's not as if that is a new thing that we are trying to introduce. It has been part of our system.
All right. If you just joined, it is the platform, the first edition for this week, Monday, the first workday of the week, 16th of September 2019, and it is Flo 94.9 FM. We'll be speaking on alternative dispute resolution. What is it about? Settling out of court. What does it entail? We've been speaking with an ADR apostle, director legal clinic and faculty of law, police academy in Kano. Also a lawyer, barrister, Dr. Ben Odo. Well, now, going back to the discussion, barrister,
yes, sir. How
conversant are lawyers with this process, alternative dispute resolution?
You see, like I said, most lawyers, what we need now is public mass awareness of alternative dispute resolution. Some lawyers are not even too conversant with it. You get what I'm saying? Some are not some are deeply scared using the process.
Not conversant, but you mentioned that it's Rule 15. You mentioned something about Rule 15, which is a must, compulsory for all lawyers.
Very well.
Whose fault?
The fault is MBA. MBA, they hardly organize this orientation awareness for lawyers to know all these things. Some lawyers don't even know that ADR is applicable in the criminal justice system. Now, I'll give you an example, sir. I was invited to give a talk by Nigerian Bar Association, Port Harcourt branch, and I humorously asked, I don't even know what I've been asked to come and talk about. I was asked to talk about ADR, and I don't know the meaning. Please, what's the meaning of ADR? The answers I got from that humorous question baffled me. Somebody said ADR means alternative dispute resolution. That was African dispute resolution. That was the Afghanistan dispute resolution. That was the American dispute resolution. The one that caught my attention was the lawyer who said ADR means alarming drop in revenue.
Okay.
I said alarming drop in revenue. I said, please explain more. He said, with the entrance of non-lawyers into the practice of alternative dispute resolution, food meant for lawyers are being taken away by those non-lawyers. And for him, ADR is alarming drop in revenue. I didn't know when I closed my eyes and prayed for him. I said, Father, forgive this my learned colleagues. Well, you know what he was saying. I tell you, with ADR, lawyers have more jobs to do. They have multiple sources of income, and they have a lot of things, and they will now win the confidence of their clients when you use alternative dispute resolution. All we need to do is to keep drumming it into the ears of lawyers, especially the young lawyers, to know this is workable, and it is also in our law. It is in the Constitution, it is in our rule of professional conduct, and it is in various court procedures, civil court procedures of various states.
All right, let's go for a break, and when we return, we'll talk much more on the topic of discussion today, alternative dispute resolution, on the platform this morning on Flo 94.9 FM. The program returns shortly. Well, thank you very much for staying tuned. It is still Flo 94.9 FM this wonderful Monday morning in the city of Umuahia, the capital of Abia State. And we still very much have here Dr. Ben Uter. He's a learned, when we say learned, he's a lawyer, a barrister, and ADR apostle. I mean, alternative dispute resolution apostle, director, legal clinic, Faculty of Law, Police Academy in Kano. Now, let's continue our discussion this morning on the ADR. Given our many conflicts in Nigeria, especially the herdsmen and the farmers' clashes, how do you think Nigeria can explore alternative dispute resolution, given the fact that the attackers are sometimes faceless? How do you think Nigeria can explore ADR?
Well, I tell you that Nigeria can explore ADR using, for example, the herders-farmer conflict. Now, you can, for example, you see, in Nigeria, what is currently happening, like having ranches, can also be a way of resolving dispute in Nigeria,
which has been kicked against by many states.
But it is workable. That is the truth. The bitter truth is that it is workable.
How?
And then, secondly, okay. I'll come to that.
Okay.
Secondly, now most of those headers that have gone radical can be granted amnesty and de-radicalized, which is an ADR process. I'll give you an example, sir.
Some persons will say Nigeria is negotiating with terrorists.
It doesn't. There've been a negotiation with terrorists in the past, and it worked. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
151 Boko Haram insurgents last year came and said, federal government, please, we are tired of fighting. And Buhari granted them amnesty. And so, okay, if you drop your gun to show that, yes, you are tired of fighting, we will grant you pardon. And 151 out of them dropped their gun to show penitence and surrendered. And they were granted pardon. When they were granted pardon, I was also invited, even though I didn't oblige, to be part of the radicalization process.
Okay.
They were camped in Gombe State, and then federal government de-radicalized them for 3 good months, after which they were absorbed into the Nigerian army. They were given automatic employment into the Nigerian army, and right now they are helping the Nigerian army into fighting those ones who are stubborn, who have refused to surrender. It's an ADR process. It's a de-radicalization process. Those those insurgents, Boko Haram insurgents that have repented now are members of the Nigerian armies, and they are helping Nigerian armies to fight this war. Now, in the header, a former conflict.
Yes.
Now, there could be, most of these people, I tell you the truth, is that most of these, the headers are faceless headers. Government can come in. Government know them. Government can come in to have a discussion with them.
Do you think government knows them, like you mentioned? Government is saying we do not have an idea of these persons. They are faceless. And you're saying government, they do know them. How do you think ADR will work?
How did government de-radicalize Boko Haram insurgents if government didn't know them? If government don't know them, let's believe. But government know people who know them. They can be reached.
Government know people who know them.
Very well, and they can be reached. I tell you, even there is nothing like negotiation. You can negotiate even with the devil.
Even with the devil?
Very well.
With ADR?
Very well.
Okay.
And it's possible.
You have to prove to me.
So there is nothing that is not resolvable. There is nothing that is not negotiable. And I tell you, is by taking bold steps that you can get all those things. It's just because of our time. But I tell you this, if you have taken time to go through Flashes of Thought written by Al Maktoum Rashid bin the ruler of Dubai, his autobiography.
Yes.
You discover that this Boko Haram something, for example, even started in Dubai. Is an it is an Arabic word, Boko Haram, war against Western education. When they got their independence, some of the youths, because they are Muslim countries, now fought against the culture of the Westerners. And that time the ruler of Dubai was the Minister of Defense, and his father was the president of United Arab Emirates. So they were arrested, those guys fighting government. Like I said, you can see their faces. They were arrested. The father, in a voyage of anger, declared that all of them should be wasted. 17,000 youths. And what the man did was he now got a fiat from his father. He said, I am the Minister of Defense. Let me handle the execution. He took those guys to their desert and said, look, God forbid that I shed your blood. I am going to give you an option. I'm going to raise money, send all of you to London and all that part of the world. Go and see what we saw. If you don't like it, then come back, then remain there. But if you like it, come back and we'll forgive you and absorb you into the government. They came back and said, forgive us. It is now that we have seen what you saw, we are now going to help you to make sure that we give you the best exemplary government the whole world will long for. Today, Dubai is the best in everything. The biggest city, the best in everything. When you talk about well-organized city, look at how we talk about Dubai. As if it is the capital of United Arab Emirates. We don't know it is not even the capital. You hardly hear about the capital, which is Abu Dhabi. Now they have the tallest story building in the whole world. 163, by a vision of one man on how he was able to negotiate with insurgents.
So it's ADR. The ADR.
It's ADR. He used negotiation and got what he wants. Today is the most peaceful city in the whole world, even though it's an Islamic city.
Barrister, let's take a look at a disadvantage I'm looking at here. In a situation you're giving amnesty to some persons tagged terrorists, don't you think it will spark another controversy looking at the political situation we have in Nigeria? And again, don't you think it will encourage some other persons to pick up arms and they'll come out and say, after all, I will be granted amnesty. After all, the government will come out and negotiate with me.
No, it's one thing about amnesty, sir, which is provided for under Section 308 of the Constitution, is that it is a prerogative. It is a prerogative of mercy of the president. The Constitution provides for it. So whether you like it or not, the president has right to grant prerogative of mercy to anybody, whether the person is a terrorist or non-terrorist. It's there in the Constitution, which is the grand norm, the highest law of the country. So the president, that's so the president has prerogative of the president. Immunity of the president is section 308. Then section 175 of the 175 of the 1999 Constitution provide for prerogative of mercy. Are you getting what I'm saying?
I'm getting you.
Now, so then section so the president can grant prerogative of amnesty to anybody he wants to that is concerned with an offense, whether the person is a terrorist, whether the person is an insurgent, whether the person is just a criminal, and you can't do it, and you cannot stop it. The law provide for it. A governor of a state can also grant that pardon to anybody that want to grant pardon. Is the person can be granted the pardon? It's there in the Constitution.
Okay.
So it's not about encouraging. And I tell you something.
Okay.
You see, there are things we do, and you think when we do them that it will not deter crime. There are things we do, you think because we are doing it, that crime will be that it will deter crime. I'll give you an example, sir.
Okay.
I witnessed the killing, the shooting, firing squad of Otokoto when Otokoto was raining. Went to visit my uncle. My uncle said, "Please let us go today. They will be killing Otokoto and his gang members." I said, "Let me go and witness how firing squad is being conducted." So when we went to watch the killing of Otokoto, people who gathered to watch the man dead were in that place where Otokoto was being shot down and lost their vehicles, which means people who there
were numerous Otokotos there.
Thank you very much. People who came to watch one dying because he was a robber ended up stealing. So which means that firing squad did not deter them.
The lesson wasn't learned.
That's what I'm telling you. Now I tell you, the best thing is that punishment should be made to rehabilitate. In as much as you are being punished, the aim of that should be to reform you and rehabilitate you.
Let us break it down to individual homes now. In a situation where you get a cane and beat a child, always you keep beating and beating and beating, do you think it is going to instill discipline? Is there an ADR alternative dispute resolution you can make use to correct your child?
Very well. You see, you just reminded me something. I have a mother who is a disciplinarian to a fault. She is a headmistress. You know, these headmistresses are gifted in caning, in flogging people.
Of course, they will want to make an example.
Thank you very much. She kept beating me that I got used to her beating. One day, she sent me to fetch water for her, and then I broke the 20 liter of the gallon he asked me to use in fetching water. I was aware of the punishment awaiting for me at home, so I bought cane on my way back.
Oh, you bought your cane?
I bought cane, yes, for myself, for my way back. So when she was looking for cane to flog me, I said, "Mommy,
the cane.
Thank you very much. This is the cane. Use it to flog me. This is my hand. When you are tired, inform me." I didn't know my dad was watching. And my dad made a statement that I will never forget. He called my mom and said, "My wife, don't flog that boy." My mom asked why. My dad said, I quote, said, "When the disciplinary measure in a cane diminishes, there is a problem in that home." So if you keep flogging and keep flogging and keep flogging and you will not get a leeway. So the best is to negotiate. And I tell you something.
How do you think we can negotiate? Because what we have now, these kids, they are very intelligent. They are very, very intelligent. In a situation you're negotiating, they can even come up with something more brilliant than your negotiate.
What is negotiation? What is negotiation? Is a direct discussion or communication between two persons with a view of reaching an agreement. It depends on how you handle it, and it depends on the strategy you use. We have principled strategy, we have positional. So when parties maintain different stances uncompromisingly, that is when the negotiation will end in a deadlock. But if you use it to be a win-win principle strategy, you will get whatever thing you want. Parents can negotiate with their children can negotiate with their parents, employers can negotiate with their employees. It is there. It's all about acquiring the skills so that when you do it professionally. I tell you, in the Bible, forgive me, let me just be a bit humorous. Samson negotiated his strength on Delilah's laps without knowing he was negotiating. If he had
the producer of this program is Samson.
No, it's Samson in the Bible. Samson in the Bible. So if Samson had acquired the appropriate skills, he would have been more professional in that negotiation with Delilah. So
okay, let's head straight to the phone lines. I have some other questions for you. 0808 182 6949. 0811-605-2949. Drop messages for me on 0906 510 8289. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
I'm calling from Umaya. Good morning, honorable man in the house.
Thank you, sir.
I've been enjoying the discussions, but where I'm finding it difficult to agree with you is the issue of negotiating with terrorists. Yes, for instance, IPOB were packed a terrorist organization. We saw what happened, Operation Python Down, what it did to our men, Igbo men here, by the same president who you are saying that granted amnesty to more than 151 Boko Haram members. So if peradventure a terrorist organization, according to Nigerian constitution, you are a terrorist, you are not supposed to be negotiating, talk more of granting whatever. I know that president has tried to pardon people, but not as a group. He can maybe during the anniversary or whatever, you can pardon even governors, but not group as a group of people that have been killing and destroying. I don't believe if you believed in precisely Borno State, and you're talking about pardoning this deadly Boko Haram. If you see the activities, how they have been killing people unnecessarily, it means that we're encouraging crime. Because what is happening in some of the northern states, like Katsina, Sokoto, the bandits that have been, the minister president has failed to, as in, proscribed as a terrorist organization. Now, a governor is begging. And these people now came and released some of the men. They read it, Ms. Soni, you put it in your news this morning. They negotiated with a bandit and released some of the people that were kidnapped. Up till now, it means it has given them morale and more money to acquire ammunition to keep doing the act. So,
all right, quickly wrap up your thoughts, please. All right, thank you.
In Nigerians, we have rules, we have laws. If minor whatever thing can be pardonable, can be like you stated the issue of said, but not people that have been taking people's lives is not even welcome, even in the Bible.
Okay.
That is against it.
Thank you for your contribution. He's mentioning that criminal, when you're taking a look at criminal issues now, ADR should not make use of in this situation, in criminal cases where you have Boko Haram killing people and you're granting them amnesty. I put that question to you earlier on the program.
You see, like I said, sir, the president, like I said, it was not a group for a lost pardon. Individuals who
are ready to change,
okay, came to say, I am sorry. I give you examples. Let's not be big sentimental. I am not advocating that pardon should be granted to Boko Haram insurgent. But I am saying that if discussing with them, we put an end to the killing of innocent life, to the losing of properties, government can take up that bold step in interfacing with them and discussing with them. When Yar'Adua was the president, the major problem we had was the issue of Niger Delta crisis. The militants, in quotes, they were making government ungovernable for Yar'Adua. Within the few years he was the president before he died. What did Yar'Adua do as the president? People advised him, set up joint task force, arrest those boys, kill them, so that they would not destabilize your government. He tried setting up joint task force, and it was an effort in futility. Fire for fire. Guys who were living inside water. Someone can dive in and you not see him until after 3 months. And you now set people to go and kill them. What did Yar'Adua do? He decided to say, okay, please, if you are interested in surrendering to government, I will grant you pardon. He gave them 60 days ultimatum. And these people came and surrendered and dropped their gun. I said, Mr. President, please, we are sorry, we are ready to drop our gun. And they came and had President, I can tell you, had a meeting with Asari Tokumbo, Tombolo, government, Boiluf. There were about 5 of them. Had a meeting with them, and President asked them why they were fighting this government. And they said, we are fighting a just cause. Come to our region. And you will see, you will not perceive any essential amenities, the presence of government. Yet, the revenue of Nigeria, 95% are from this region. Provide this thing, I will not fight your government. What did Yaradua do? Yaradua now granted them amnesty. Yaradua also now created Ministry of Niger Delta, appointed someone from the zone to take care of these their requests. Those people who surrendered as the militants. Government asked them what they want. Some said they wanted to go to school. Some said they needed to go to needed employment. Let me shock you, sir. Two of them that said they needed to go to school got admission into University of Jordan to study aviation. One graduated as the best student pilot in the whole of University of Jordan. He can now be the first student pilot to fly Boeing 787 with more than 500 passengers. If that person was killed during the joint task force exercise, would he have been one of the best pilots?
Let's take this call, Barrister. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Radio Senator.
Yeah, good morning, our guest.
Thank you.
I think our guest has said it all. Not the action that you will reply with action. Negotiation is so important. Just as what happened in Niger Delta. Remember, it's the leader of Yaradua to grant amnesty to the part of northern youth that led to Boko Haram. In 2008, it was the leader of Yaradua who said that the North, there is no problem in the North. Why should we grant them amnesty? That led the youth to begin to hold themselves, creating themselves outside the country, and thereby forming Boko Haram. That terrorized Nigeria up to this time. So, granting of amnesty is so important. There are issues stand whereby you cannot use weapons in order to achieve your target. Thereby, you begin to negotiate. And when you negotiate, you now get results. What is the result? Look at President Muhammad Buhari negotiating with Boko Haram. And then, by negotiating with them, they now gave him 100 and something Boko Haram captives, if you remember, 2017, thereabouts. And they returned those people, and then as result, he had not negotiated with them. He could continue fighting them. They would have returned them.
All right. Okay, Radio Senator. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning on the program. Now, finally, if time will permit, I will take more calls, but I really want him to speak on this particular question I will be asking him this morning, Barrister. For in an instance where parties choose to deploy ADR, like you've highlighted what ADR is about this morning on the program, alternative dispute resolution, to settle their differences, would it be possible to have a court backing to the agreement to make it binding?
Very well.
How?
Very well. You see, what we do in practice is, if parties decide to embrace alternative dispute resolution,
yes,
now they must have an expected outcome.
Okay.
The only way to give a binding force to that their expected outcome is to take it to court. The court will register it. For example, there was a mediation. At the end, there should be a mediation settlement agreement. There was a negotiation. There should be a settlement agreement. There was conciliation. There should be a settlement agreement. There was arbitration. There should be award. You go and meet the registrar of the court. Once they stamp that document, neither of the parties can renege. And with that agreement, it will become a binding document. In fact, become a binding document of the court. And it is bind. For example, sir, in arbitration, the Supreme Court have held in the case of Kano State Urban Development Board versus Fans Construction Company,
okay,
that the relationship between an arbitral tribunal and parties in a commercial dispute is for better and for worse. Whether the arbitrator errs in law or errs in fact. An aggrieved party can only approach the court to ask the court to recognize the decisions taken by a private arbitrator. And once the court recognizes it, that decision becomes binding and final and is not appealable. So it's there. So all the parties need to do is, at the end of the process, approach the court, notify the court of what you have as a negotiated agreement, negotiated settlement, an award. They will stamp it. Once it is stamped, it becomes a public document, and it will be binding on the parties.
Okay, let's take more calls. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, the guests that they have.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, Charles from Omaya.
You're welcome, Charles.
Yeah, the issue you people are discussing is very interesting and very important. Like the guests, they have quoted the Quran and the Bible. I find that it is a very good thing. One thing with the conflict resolution talking about is that it is something that comes from the mind. People making up their mind to sue for peace. And then when people make up their mind, there's this, they tend to be remorseful. They tend to, turn to a new leaf. But when you take a matter to the court, like what you see in our families, and a party wins the matter, I think that in most cases begins, becomes the beginning of crisis, acrimony, and a lot of things. So conflict resolution is a good thing. If today the Boko Haram and these insurgents we have, they want to turn to new leaf, and then they now want to change, I think it will be the best thing that has happened to Nigeria in the now, because when we look at the tensions, when we look at the losses, when we look at everything that happens to Nigeria now, we find that anybody who is against giving amnesty and things like that, doesn't mean well for Nigeria. Even Paul in the Bible, we know how he persecuted Christians. We know the role he played in the killing of Stephen. But when Christ approached him, and then he turned to become a Christian, he became the greatest Christian the world has ever known. So there is nothing wrong with the governors, the presidency, and the families, considering conflict resolution.
All right, Charles.
That is the best way, to take care of a conflict.
Okay.
And then because it comes from the mind, and then nobody is forced.
All right, Charles.
I think it's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. He mentioned it that it is good, and he said it starts from the mind. But in a situation where you have a case in court already, can you still go ahead and settle out of court?
The Supreme Court have held that parties have rights
to settle out of court.
To have right to decide whatever thing that should happen
at any point
in time before judgment.
Before judgment.
Yes, at any point in time before judgment.
Okay.
So they can tell the court, please give us time to go and settle. If you are not able, we'll come back so that you give judgment. And the court will now stay down the proceeding and give them time to go and reconcile. Yes, and come back. Sometimes what parties do, they can even reconcile and come and tell the court, we have reconciled, this is our decision. The court will adopt their decision as a judgment of the court, and it is called consent judgment.
Okay.
So it's workable.
All right, Barrister Ben, I really want to appreciate your time this morning. You've been very resourceful when it comes to ADR. No wonder you're an ADR apostle. And the fact that you mentioned that Samson didn't
negotiate properly with Delilah.
I'm very happy with that line. I will keep using that line against Samson. Thank you very much. He's a lawyer, an ADR apostle, Director Legal Clinic, Faculty of Law, Police Academy in Kano, Dr. Ben Udo. Thank you very much for being part of the program.
Thank you for thanking me, Mike.
Okay, do have yourself a wonderful Monday. The program was produced by the man that refused to, negotiate well with Delilah, Samson Eze. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Oni.